it's Alex. Welcome to my channel. Thanks for joining me. Today I'm going to attempt to replicate a dress that I saw when I was out trying things on as part of the curated closet process. It's the one that is basically a long sleeve jersey tee, crew neck, with a woven gathered skirt attached to it. And the one I tried on also had two cargo style patch pockets on it, and I loved it. And I also think that it very much fits my new 3 words, my style criteria of casual, edgy and chic. I feel like the olive green and the cargo pockets give it that little bit of edge. I'm going to use a long sleeve jersey t-shirt sewing pattern. I think it's the sort of thing lots of us that sew already have in our stash. I certainly have quite a few of them. There are very possibly even some free ones out there if you have a little Google. There's no reason why, if you already have a round neck jersey t-shirt, much like the one I'm wearing under my sweatshirt. I'm wearing leggings today because I've just been to the osteopath, so please forgive me, but you know, she gets me into some very strange positions, so I need to be flexible. So you could just take a shop bought t-shirt, you're going to kind of chop it up a bit and go from there, but I'm assuming that I'm going to start from scratch and make one. Fabric wise, I mentioned that the one thing that I hadn't really thought about when I immediately said I could replicate it was that I would need to colour match my jersey and my woven fabric, and that Lamazi Fabrics had reached out when I can't believe I just said reached out. Anyway, got in touch when I put up an Instagram post saying I was struggling, and they had come up with some matches for me in the kind of colours I was looking for. I've got this for my knit. It's a cotton knit. It is their essential chic khaki plain cotton jersey fabric. It's £6 for half a metre, and I ordered a metre, so that's cost me £12. And then in terms of the woven fabric, the dress that I tried on at John Lewis, the skirt part of it was a cotton. This is a viscose poplin. I've never heard of a viscose poplin before, so that will be interesting, which is fine. It's obviously not the same fabric as a cotton, but the main thing is that it is lightweight enough that I can gather it, because obviously anything too thick is not going to work. So all I'm going to do is sew up one side, sew it together and put it, gather it across the top here, just enough to make those gathers. It's a little bit borderline. So the other thing would be to just order twice the amount of fabric and then have that as my width and have 2 seams either side. A metre is long enough, but I ordered 1.5 metres because I did very much like those cargo pockets on the one I tried on, and I feel like with the olive green it has that kind of army sort of feel and a little bit of edge. The main thing that I'm going to need to consider with this is the whole business of joining a stretch fabric at the waistband to a woven fabric. And I really need to consider the fact that this jersey, this cotton jersey, which is heavy enough, but is it going to be heavy enough to take the weight at this seam here of a gathered skirt? Now, the viscose poplin isn't as heavy as a cotton fabric would be, but even so, my concern is that that seam line could go all a bit wavy-davy and not look as professional as I would like it to do. So my thoughts are that I will do a little experiment first, or a couple of experiments. I've got an idea of what will work, but we will see. So I went to my stash and I found some fabric that felt very similar to the fabrics that I've got here. So I have cut out 3 bits of jersey and I have 3 viscose rectangles that are twice the width, which to be honest is a greater amount of gather than I think I'm going to manage to achieve, but this is just an experiment. So I'm going to do 3 versions where I gather up the viscose and attach it to the jersey. So the first one, which I think is not going to work, but let's see, I'm going to stretch the jersey fabric as much as it will go. It's not going to stretch that twice its width. Anything that would stretch twice its width is going to be something like maybe a bamboo or a viscose jersey, which is going to be more lightweight than this and even less likely to take the weight of a skirt. So that is not going to work, but what will work is if I gather this viscose like you would do for any normal gathering, I'm going to gather it and use the stretchiness of the jersey and see how that works. Personally, I don't think it will. I think this fabric, it's a lot to expect it to recover, the recovery to bounce right back and not look a mess, but we will see. Option number 2 is going to be, which I'm hoping is the one that will work, is I'm going to gather the woven onto some clear elastic. Now, I thought I had some clear elastic and I couldn't find it, so I've ended up having to order some new from the dreaded Amazon, which I'll link. This clear elastic is not as stretchy as you might hope. It obviously has some give in it, but it's not super stretchy. I've pinned at either end. I don't think it has enough stretch in it. It definitely doesn't to stretch the full way across. So again, what I will do is I will do 2 rows of gathering stitch on this viscose. I will gather it onto the elastic and then attach the elastic to the jersey. I am hoping that that method will work because this has quite a bit of strength to it. It has enough stretch that if I need stretch at the waistline of my t-shirt it should work, but not so much that the edge will go wavy. But just in case, as an alternative, I'm also going to do the same thing but using some other elastic that I have, which is super stretchy. I can just about get it to lie flat. So in that one, I'm going to stretch it the full length, zigzag it on, and then attach it to the jersey. I could try and do it in one go, but I think that's asking for trouble. We'll see which works better, but I have a feeling that this isn't going to quite work and be quite strong enough on that bottom edge. Okay, so I'm going to get onto the sewing. I just briefly want to say at this point that this video is sponsored by one of my favourite sponsors, Serious Lights, because I absolutely adore the Serious HD lights. Mine, as you probably know, is a floor light with the 2 heads. It gets used every single day, every single time I'm sewing in here, and as always I have got an amazing offer code for you. If you have a look, there'll be a link in the description box below. The offer code is SR416 and that gets you £100 off one of the HD lights in the Serious range. They are the ones that have the daylight wavelength technology, which is what we need because that really helps with the eye strain. It mimics daylight as much as is going to be possible, and it really does make sewing massively easier in these darker months. It is 1:30 today and I've got a ring light on here because honestly otherwise you wouldn't see me. But it is dark in my little corner over here and I simply could not sew without these. They get used all the time. Okay, so evidently I should have thought about where I was putting the elastic because when I sewed over it and flipped it out, the elastic was peeking through. So I definitely want the elastic to be on the wrong side of the fabric. I should have thought about that. Anyway, so it is slight. I did a second pass and it's still slightly peeking through. But here I am. So this is with the super stretchy elastic. I can see visually that we've definitely got a bit of flare, not in a good way, and a slight bit of undulation. So, as I suspected, this is not the way to go, I don't think. Let's try the next one. Right then, here's the moment of truth, because this is the one that I'm hoping will work. I think logically it's the right option. That's how it looks the jersey side. That's how it looks on the woven side. Obviously, this would all be overlocked. Okay, I think that looks a lot better. It is ever so slightly flaring out at the bottom, but it's minimal. But this edge here doesn't look wavy at all. It's not undulating. It looks much better. Okay, and the other thing to check, of course, is it going to stretch so that I can still have a Sunday roast? And yeah, so that's going to work really well. None of those stitches are going to break. That is definitely the way forward. This is option one, where I've stretched the jersey as much as possible and not used any elastic, just zigzagged it straight on. And this is the result that I'm getting, which is pretty wavy. So no elastic jersey only, stretchy elastic, clear elastic. Ignore that pinch, that's my bad sewing. I am now going to make my t-shirt. So I've dug out my pattern here. I am now at 10 to 3 and I've got to take the dog to the vet at 4:30, so leave at 4:15. So I suspect that I won't be reporting back today, and I will report back when I next pick up from here. So yeah, hopefully I will have a completed t-shirt. It's a couple of days later, feeling much more full of energy than I did then, because I had been up since 4 a.m. I'm really struggling with my sleep at the moment and I was really tired. Anyway, managed to get some sleep over the weekend, so that was really good. Right, I now have a completed knit top. I said I was going to use the Pattern Emporium Keep It Simple top, and when I went to cut it out, I could not at all get the t-shirt cut out of the 1 metre of fabric that I had, even though I was cropping it somewhat. And I thought that's really strange, because I know that I can get a Seamwork Astoria out of 1 metre. So in the end, I swapped it and I made another Seamwork Astoria. I have, yeah, I mean, it is what it is. So that is all good to go. Mostly done on the overlocker, except that little bit of top stitching. I also have pressed my woven fabric and measured the length that I want. So I actually want, from this kind of high-waisted point, I've measured about 97 centimetres, and then on top of that, obviously, I need to add a bit of seam allowance at the top of the skirt and hem at the bottom. So I think I probably could get that out of 1 metre. I have joined the seam, so because I'm only using 1 piece of fabric rather than 2, I've only got the 1 seam. Could put it on the side, or do I put it on the centre back? And in the end I decided, I don't know if you can see that or not, in the end I decided centre back, being that it's the 1 seam. And then what I have done is I have folded it in half from that back seam and put a pin in here to give me the centre front, and then matched those to the back seam and that centre front marking, put a pin in either edge that way, and they have given me my 2 side seams. I've notched them as well, just in case I lose my pins. I needed to decide where the pockets were going to go, and obviously I wanted to put them on before I get to the whole point of gathering the skirt and attaching it to the top. So I've just sort of guesstimated by literally just putting my hands here and kind of measuring where that lies in conjunction to where the seam is going to be. So I have drawn lines in chalk, equidistant, and hopefully parallel to the seam. Don't know if you can see it or not, but I've drawn my chalk lines on there for my pockets. The skirt that I tried on had cargo style pockets, and they were the ones that have a slightly three-dimensional element to them. Because I'm using viscose and it is incredibly drapey and quite a fine fabric, I didn't feel that I needed to do the cargo pockets. I think it would be very, very fiddly with this kind of fabric. Not unachievable, but a kind of extra bit of work that perhaps I didn't need. But what I did decide to do was I went for this kind of a shape. So I've got an angle at the bottom, and I've also created a fold in the middle. I tend to keep all my pocket pieces in here. So I have got various pocket templates in here that have come from all sorts of patterns. Some of them are out of card, which is really helpful because you can put the card against the fabric and then press over it to get your edges nice and neat. Various different sizes and shapes. I've got my placket, sleeve placket. Some are in paper and they're all looking manky, round ones, yeah, all sorts in here. What I did was I just drew on a piece of square paper. I drew the shape and the size I wanted, and then I added the seam allowance and well, it's not called a hem at the top, but you know, about 3 centimetres at the top because I'll be folding that over, and drew in my little angle at the side, and then I cut it out. I added another 2 lots of 2 centimetres so that I can have my fold like that. This is only half of it, of course. And then using that same very folded piece of fabric, paper, I had a look to see what size I wanted my pocket flaps to be. So I folded away that bit at the top that I'm going to be turning under, and I just drew my pocket flap in and folded it. I could have drawn it all out again, but I'm fundamentally lazy. Yeah, so it's like that. So I've got pocket flaps here, cut 4, sewn them together, they're ready to go on. I just need to finish making these pockets. So turn over the pockets and pin them on and pin the pocket flaps on and get sewing those. Once I've done that, I'll do the basting stitches, and then I've just got to gather the skirt onto the t-shirt and it should be good to go. So that's where I'm at. Turn my lovely lights back on. I forgot to say, by the way, that the offer code that I have for the Serious lights, which gives you £100 off the HD lights, also includes free delivery if you're in the UK. And as I said, that information will be in the description box below, and the offer code is SR416 to get that discount. Okay, so I'm ready for the next stage. I have got my pockets onto my skirt, including the pocket flaps. I've got my loop of clear elastic, which measures 80 centimetres, which is exactly the same as the hem of my jersey top. So later on I will attach that. So first of all, I just need to create the gathers by pulling the bobbin threads on these basting stitches on this skirt and get each quarter measurement on the skirt to match the quarter measurements on the elastic, which is obviously at this stage much smaller. I don't particularly enjoy gathering, but it's okay when there's just one set of gathers. I cannot stand making a tiered skirt because the amount of gathering is crazy, and it gets very boring. And I know there are lots of different methods. I've talked before about trying the method where you use elastic to create the gathers. I have also tried the method, well, I actually don't need my glasses for this. I've also tried the method where you use your overlocker to create gathers. But you know what? Every time I come back to the original, which is this method. Maybe it's just more familiar. Maybe I'm a glutton for punishment. Seriously dark in here. I mean, it's not actually pitch black outside yet, but it's only 2:30. So, but we're at that point now where it's dark in the morning when I go to the gym, and it's getting darker earlier and earlier, and we've still got that for a little while yet. So to be honest, it is one of the many reasons, just coming back to them briefly, why I really like my serious lights, because I don't have to worry about that. I get as much daylight as I need in here on my work, on my sewing work that I'm doing. And I really love, they're just so easy to use. I love the ergonomics of them. They have, you know, like a really nice feel, all the buttons and the dimmable sections and the beam, and you know, they're great to use. Obviously I have a floor light, but they do a desk light option, and there are loads of customizable colours so you can match your interior however you like, so make it more traditional or more contemporary. And yeah, don't forget that discount code will be in the description box below. Gives you £100 off, and they ship worldwide, but if you're in the UK, which is where they are based, you can also get free shipping in the UK if you use that code SR416. I think everybody who has bought one so far has told me they love them too, and in the meantime I hope everyone else is getting on top of Christmas. I am actually making really good progress for once. I have been very guilty of leaving all the present buying to the last minute, and I've managed to get pretty much everything except something for my husband. And to be honest, after being together for 25 years, we usually steer each other rather heavily towards what we want for Christmas, and he hasn't the faintest idea. So that's really difficult, and I've told him if he's not careful he's just going to get a book. I need to pay more attention to what I'm doing here. Right, I'm going to get this pinned onto the elastic and zigzag it on. Okay, so that is all done. Gathering is now on the clear elastic. Yeah, so I'm just matching up the quarter marks on my jersey top with where I've got the gathers pinned on my skirt, right sides together. So yeah, I'm going to finish that off, and I will probably leave it to hang overnight before I hem it. So I'm going to do that, and then I'll pop back and show you the finished garment. Fingers crossed my gathers don't look too awful. Okay, here it is, all finished, and I have to say I am really pleased with how it's turned out. I think it works really well. It's quite similar to the dress that I tried on, with the difference being that this is a different kind of fabric. So being that it's a viscose poplin, it is slightly more floaty, and it also has a little bit of a sheen to it, which I think is okay given that the colours don't quite match. You wouldn't say they are absolutely identical and spot on. It doesn't bother me. But yeah, look, I am so pleased with it, and I feel that it does fit with my words. For me, my interpretation of those words of casual, chic and edgy, I know it's not super edgy, but you know, my interpretation, I'm really happy with it. Yeah, I even like the pockets. I was worried about the pockets being so kind of flimsy, but no, I'm happy with that. I didn't put any buttons or press studs on the pocket flaps, because I just thought, who does that? I mean, if you want to put your hands in your pockets, you don't really want to faff around with fastening them up. They're mostly going to just contain hair ties, I think. It's my usual thing in my pockets. So yeah, I'm really, really super excited by how it turned out. It was no problem getting it on. I was slightly concerned about that because, you know, that elastic isn't super stretchy, and I thought, okay, I know it'll go on over my neck absolutely fine, but you know, it's got to get over boobs, and there's enough stretch to be able to do that. So that wasn't a problem. Yeah, I mean, I don't really know what more to say other than I feel it was a real success, and I honestly think I am going to keep doing this. I'm going to keep making them. I think I've found a style that I really like. I like the fact that because you've got the seam here, you have a room to grow. If you are somebody that gets a bit bloated, which I do, or you're going to have Christmas dinner and you want to be able to expand and contract, all good. Yeah, I love it. So I hope it's kind of inspired you either to, you know, when you see something in the shops and you think I could easily replicate that, to give it a go, and or to try this very, very style. I'm just going to call it a knit woven dress because I couldn't think of anything in the least bit more exciting than that. And you know, if I was a more ambitious person, I'd go and knock up a pattern and release it. But why do that? We can all make our own. And I've even got, I don't know whether they work yet, but I've even got boots that are pretty much the same colour. I'll see, I'm always saying this, aren't I? That when I see the film back, sometimes I think, oh yeah, that worked. And sometimes I think, oh, no. You need contrast. So I will have a look later. Before I go, I just thought I would quickly show you, because I haven't, I would quickly show you my finished Jessica jacket. I've been meaning to do it, just worry it could be a little bit too much green. But and I generally am unlikely to wear it buttoned up. But yeah, I am really pleased with it. Really, really pleased with it. The only thing is, I said all the way along while I was making it that it was a little on the snug side, and I didn't think that was going to be a problem. But if I'm honest, it's okay with this amount underneath it. But if I had, I think even like a sort of middleweight jumper underneath, it could be a little bit too much. It's actually on the arms and across here. It's just a little bit on the tight side. If I could turn back time, get me being Cher, if I could turn back time, I'd have probably made the next size up. But hey ho, I'm certainly not going to make another one in a hurry because it was super complex to make and super time consuming. But yeah, I'm really, really pleased with it. Got to thank Becky again for letting me have this super special fabric to her. Yeah, I love how it's turned out. I have already been wearing it, so just the fact it's a little bit snug is not going to stop me. That is it for this video. Don't forget that Serious Readers offer for £100 off any of the HD lights, including free delivery within the UK. If you use the code, everything will be in the description box below, but it's SR416, and I will be along very, very soon because I haven't done a Vlogmas this year, you may have noticed. Vlogmas is a lot of work, and I take my hat off to all my fellow sewing vloggers that do Vlogmas. It's a lot at what is already a busy time of year. So I haven't obviously done that, but my next video will be very chatty and kind of no, I'm not following myself around over a day or anything like that. But yeah, a bit of a chatty one, a few of my plans for over Christmas, but mostly a bit of chat. So thank you very much, everyone. I hope you can tell that I am thrilled with how this turned out, and I'm hoping that I have now turned a corner and I won't make any more mistakes. Just wanted to say thank you so much for all your comments and suggestions and thoughts following my last video, which was the Bernadette skirt. Yeah, thank you very much. I am still trying to catch up with the comments because there are a lot of them, but I will when I get a moment. Quite a few people have said that they like the skirt, and why didn't I try it with a rust coloured jumper, a like cropped jumper or a jumper to bring out the rust in the pinstripes? And I had actually had that thought myself. But what I was thinking is, am I now going to make a jumper or a top of some sort in order to make the skirt work when in my heart of hearts I am not convinced I'm going to wear the skirt? So then I'm now wasting my time on 2 garments rather than 1. I still feel that at this point in time. So yeah, I don't know. I've not given up on it. I don't want to think about that right now. I want to think about my success. Okay. All right. See you soon. Thanks a lot. Bye bye.